Coming up on the Braves Sports Network here on this Monday night following homecoming, it's the Cedric Thomas Show right here on the Braves Sports Network. We will recap the UAPB game, a big win. The Braves are in first place in the Western Division, and we trailed early, and we got it done. And we'll talk all about it with Braves head football coach Cedric Thomas. We'll take your texts, your phone calls, and your tweets on this Monday night. 2 o'clock kickoff at Eddie Robinson Memorial Stadium, Alcorn and Grambling on Saturday. We'll look at Mickey Joseph's ball club. We'll take a time out here. When we come back, the Cedric Thomas program will get underway here on the Braves Sports Network.
Here at Alcorn, we understand that we share some commonalities with one another. So in some ways, we're already family.
Seeing more people that looked like me and had the same mannerisms as me, it was fantastic.
The variety of people here really made me feel at home.
When I stepped on campus, it felt like I was supposed to be here.
When they say the grass is greener here, they really mean it.
Can I get the Nauber, please?
$1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Campus of Alcorn State University. Here on this Monday night, we have the Cedric Thomas program on the Braves Sports Network, 91.7 WPRL and WPRL.org. I'm Charles Ibman, our producer Cedric Tillman and Jamario Brooks, as we talk about the UAPB game. And, of course, with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, a very serious injury. We're going to talk about that first. We'll kind of pay homage and respects to that, and then we'll get into the football game. You can give us a call, 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-301-2611. And you can tweet a question on X, Tall Man Radio. We'll look at the UAPB game, what worked, what we have to clean up, as we've got 2 tough road games coming up. 2 o'clock kickoff at Grambling on Saturday, and then the following Saturday, homecoming at Southern University, a 6 o'clock kickoff against the Jaguars. Then a bye week, but a lot of work between now and then. We'll take a timeout, a 60-second break. When we come back, the Cedric Thomas program will get underway right here on the Braves Sports Network.
Don't worry, 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play at least 60 minutes a day.
Okay, time for the team obstacle course. Yay!
What this place needs is more healthy kids. To get involved or donate, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry, I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
And we welcome you back to the Cedric Thomas program here on the Braves Sports Network, 91.7 WPRL and WPRL.org. WMIS WTYJ 1240 AM 97.7 Fayette Natchez, NatchezRadio.com, 90.1 WMPR in Jackson, and we are on YouTube, Braves Sports Network. Glad you can join us, ladies and gentlemen. Braves coming off a big win over UAPB. It wasn't easy, down 14-0 early, so we'll talk all about that with Braves head football coach Cedric Thomas. We hope you join the conversation. Coach Thomas, how you doing, sir? Good evening.
I'm blessed, Mr. Charles. Everything good?
Everything is good. You got the win. Homecoming, it's always a challenge trying to keep the truck in the middle of the road the week of homecoming, but you were able to do that.
Yeah, I thought the guys did a really good job starting with just the support staff, trainers, managers, everybody around the community. Just kind of helped me when guys was out, when they didn't supposed to be, and we didn't have many. And also the kids did a really good job of policing themselves. We lost homecoming 2 years ago, and Malachi had spoke to the team about what they felt like doing that Texas Southern game, and so those guys was committed. We was able to get them off campus, and then some was on campus, but they was in their room, and so that just says a lot about their leadership. And so I think it really helped us to be able to start off a little slow, but also finish because of the good night rest and also just kind of being focused for 4 quarters.
All hands were on deck. You made it clear to your team on Wednesday that starting actually Tuesday, that 9 o'clock curfew Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, it wasn't just Friday night at 9 o'clock lockdown. It was starting on Tuesday.
Yeah, and I think it just gave us some resolve to be able to finish. We didn't start as well as we wanted to, but I just thought, being able to just stay dialed in and not have any external forces to dictate, how we performed over 3.5 hours was indicative of how we finished.
Well, of course, we're going to talk about the game itself. But we want to start, obviously, with the situation with 9:52 left in the fourth quarter. UAPB player Caleb Knox went down with a serious injury, and obviously he was airlifted off campus. And there's been all kinds of reports, all kinds of questions about it. Coach Thomas, this game of football, we love it. We love it from every aspect of it. But the unfortunate aspect of it is that these things can and do happen at times. A high school game I did, Vicksburg and Terry, kind of the same thing. So just talk about that play and what you thought initially as it was unfolding.
It was just a bang-bang play at the time. You really couldn't see it at the moment. But once they showed it on the Jumbotrons, you kind of saw his head was out there. So we knew it was something critical. And so it was just both sides. The prayer angels came out, on both sides and just really prayed for the young man. And so, I just think, God took over in a situation where it could have been a whole lot worse. And the medical staff did a really good job on both sides, going out there and making sure that, things was done in a correct manner. And so I just thought that was kudos to our training staff, their training staff, and everybody who was out there that assisted them to get to safety.
And for those that are watching, you see there the footage. Caleb Knox, a senior from Bryant, Arkansas. He has a brother on the team, Kyle Knox. And there's a video, or at least I saw, hopefully we can get that shot, Coach, of you on a knee right outside of that huddle. And just, talk about what was going through your mind there as you were right there close to it. I know the medical folks did what they had to do, and they did a wonderful job. But just from your perspective, on a knee yourself, what was going through your mind as that was unfolding?
Just making sure he was okay, and shout outs to didn't know if his parents was at the game or not, but prayers to them. I have a son, and I deal with a lot of sons, and I was just hoping that if they wasn't here in the physical, that somebody could be able to just get in contact with them and to just let them know that we're praying. The whole community, everybody in that stadium was praying for him. I got a really good relationship with Coach Hampton and also Coach Robinson. And so, even afterwards, texting them guys to keep me updated on things that was going on was really a blessing.
Yeah, and they did keep people updated on social media, his status, and even earlier today. And there's a shot of him walking out of the hospital, and the UAPB really did a nice job in keeping people aware. And folks were texting me and asking me about the status, but it kind of got up there on social media. UAPB was out ahead of it. I reposted it because, this is just a serious and unfortunate situation, but it's good that at least 48 hours after the fact, there's some improvement.
Yeah, God is good. It's really a blessing. These guys put their life on the line, and that's actually what they do. It's been some incidents where we had some players to lose their life on the football field, and these guys go out and they do it, every single day, practice, working hard for those 3.5 hours. So to see him in a really good, better state mentally and physically was really a blessing.
Yeah, there it is for those that are watching, seeing him walk out of that hospital. Man, it's just so unfortunate that these things happen in this violent sport that we call football, but good to see some improvement. What was the speech, to your team? I mean, from an emotional standpoint, Coach Hampton rallied his team together to try to keep it together emotionally as best as they could. What was the message to your team as you were trying to, was 9:52 left in the football game? Game still kind of hanging in the balance.
Just prayers out to him. We had a moment of silence as we got back together. But like I tell them every day, you can lose your life out here now. So you got to be ready to do it if you're going to be drenched into this football game. But we knew we had a lot of football left, and that's what we signed up for, because we know on this journey, on this walk on this universe, mom going to leave, dad going to leave. Those things are going to happen. So we just got to make sure that we stay tuned in what's going on and what God got for us, he got for us.
Somebody was asking me the other day, of all the games I've done at Spinks Chasm Stadium, had I ever seen a player get airlifted off the field? And I don't think I can remember. I mean, it's been so long, but just the operation of it. I mean, AD Dwayne Robinson, UAPB AD Chris Robinson, just to get a helicopter quickly dispatched and get that done as quickly as possible. I thought that was a heck of a feat, because that's obviously not an easy operation to get a helicopter from wherever it was coming from to get it out there pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it's not a normal routine. You're saying you've been dealing with this, with the institution for a long time, and you can't recall it. So
yeah.
You just got to be in, have those plans and operational pieces in place. So when it happened, I thought they was prepared, and they did a really good job getting them to his destination safe and sound.
AD Dwayne Robinson, somebody was asking me, and they saw a tweet, AD Robinson was on the helicopter. Well, for those who might not know, there are 3 athletic directors in this conference whose last name is Robinson. Our AD Dwayne Robinson, their AD Chris Robinson, and of course Ashley Robinson of Jackson State. So it was actually UAPB's AD Chris Robinson that was on that helicopter. I talked with our athletic director yesterday, and I think some people might have thought it was our AD Robinson, but it was UAPB's AD Robinson. Latoya Williams was out there, who handles the football operations. I know it was kind of a challenge for her, but I thought she did a nice job in kind of getting everything together.
Yeah, everybody out there, was 10-toe down and doing what was best for that young man, and to make sure that he had a safe recovery, that no further damage would be done to him while he was on that field.
You say you talked to Coach Hampton today?
Yes, talked to him, not only just about the game, but the young man well-being. Told him, to just tell his parents that we got him in prayers and hope he have a speedy recovery.
Yeah, tough situation, but everybody hands on deck. Alcorn State University, UAPB, all officials handled it very well. We're going to take a time out here. We're going to get into the football game, and we'll look at the UAPB and Alcorn. Homecoming 2024 was a great environment, a little on the warm side, but we'll talk about the game, and we'll talk about Grambling coming up. A lot of things to unpack. We'll get to it. We'll take a time out here. We'll get into the game after this here on the Brave Sports Network.
Alcorn provides our students with the knowledge, the skills, and the attitudes they need to go out in the workforce to provide the best quality client-centered care.
This program is very beneficial. I think that they have provided me a lot more information to help guide my nurse practice.
We are preparing a well-rounded student who's able to go out abroad in the workforce.
The faculty give us the knowledge we need in order to go out there in the hospital and save lives.
We are exactly what you think. We are not at all what you think. We are past, present, and future, all in one. Because the best way to honor our history.
Join us here on this Monday night as we recap the UAPB game on homecoming. Coach, it was a terrific environment, a little on the warm side, probably one of the more warmer homecomings that we've dealt with, but it was a great crowd, great environment. Traffic was backed up 10 o'clock Friday nights. The pictures were out there, but a really great atmosphere at Spinks Castle Stadium.
Yes, anytime you play in an environment, like that, and we had a bunch of recruits, got a couple commits just off that itself, so that's really huge to be able to fellowship and everybody come back and not only support the the football team, but just the institution and all the sports that's associated with it, and all the family and friends. So it was a really good environment, and it was just overwhelming fellowship to see all that purple and gold in the crowd.
There's a lot of work that goes into with homecoming, trying to prepare for a football game, and then recruiting, and you have recruits on campus. That adds a lot more to the plate, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and you got to prioritize. You got to be organized, and Ryan Booz, he kind of spearheads that. He's been here for a long time. Him and Coach Cedric did a really good job along with the staff to be able to make sure that those guys get the hospitality, but also we don't lose sight of the main thing, and that was winning the football game.
How many recruits did you have?
I think about 90.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to talk, obviously, it's never too early or too late to talk about recruiting, so we'll put that off to the side. We'll get back to that. But let's look at the football game, Coach. UAPB, I tell you what, I think UAPB is going to spoil some Saturdays for some people. Hagen's, the quarterback's the real deal. He got hurt at the start of last season, so he could have been the deal last year, but he got hurt, and they went through a merry-go-round of quarterbacks. But Hagen's, to me, is the real deal, and we'll talk about it as we go along. UAPB won the toss, Coach, and took the football. And so they got the football 9 seconds in. They started at the 24-yard line, Coach. They went 76 yards. And, they sprayed the ball around. And Hagen's to Giovanni Gibson, their number one receiver, for 42 yards to give the Lions the lead.
They came out really fast and had some different looks from the off week, and we wasn't prepared, early. Kind of had us on the Rocco, with the tempo and also just some different looks. And so by the time we kind of settled down, it was too late. Big post ball, Ed misjudged it and went into the end zone. So we just had to settle the troops. Coach Rowe did a really good job of getting the guys, on the sideline and then, looking at the iPads to be able to make the necessary corrections, at that time. And so didn't want to start out that slow, but it happens. It's a part of it. And so we just had to get our bearings and just settle down and play our brand of football.
Well, they went right down the field, 76 yards to 76-yard drive to grab the lead. And then we had a nice little drive, Coach. We started at our 30-yard line. Tyler Macon with an 11-yard gain. So we talked about that. Tyler Macon, how he's an athlete. He's going to be on the field. We've seen him in the backfield, and now we see him as a slot, and he had an 11-yard reception there. Talk about using him in that situation.
Yeah, he had a really good week, really good 2 weeks, out there playing different spots and being athletic. And so we just had to get him on the field and put the ball in his hands in some fashion. And so he did a really good job catching it, but also did a good job of blocking on the perimeter also. And so he's going to really help us. He gives us an advantage, just out there being an athlete and putting that ball in his hands. So we just try to get it to him as many times as we could in really good spaces.
Noah Kiani on for a field goal, Coach, and the old announcer's jinx. I said we're going to get on the board, and no good. Talk about the operation with that.
Yeah, just slow. Jason been doing it a long time. I think he's a 4-year starter, and sometimes he just get bored, and that wasn't the time to get bored. He's pretty much the only snapper that we have at the moment. But he just got to settle in. He's been an All-American here twice, I think, and he just got to settle down and just rip it back there. It was low. Frank tried to get it and make the adjustment, but that guy, he snapped that football a lot of times since he's been here. So we just got to be consistent, and we can't afford to make bonehead mistakes like rolling the ball back to the holder.
So that was an opportunity to get 3 points, and so Kiani was perfect until that miss. So UAPB got the football with 6:45 left in the first quarter, Coach, and they went 80 yards. Hagens to Gibson, 33 yards and the touchdown. Talk about that play.
Yeah, we knew he was going to move around, be athletic, but boy, it's just different in person. It wasn't nothing like the tape, and I think we just came out flat. We missed some tackles trying to get him down early, but the secondary had some really bad eyes, and also just 2 looks that we hadn't seen before. And shout out to Coach Hampton and his staff. They had some different wrinkles in that caught us off guard. We called a couple concepts that we thought that was going to be open and didn't get there, and they made us pay for it. And so we was down 14, so we just had to settle the guys down. But it was all things that it was correctable. So we got back on the iPad again. Coach Rose settled the guys down, and then we just knew, hey, look, that's it. We got to do a good job of really just making sure we hold this thing tight because it could get ugly. And so I thought Malachi and them guys really settled down, getting together, circling up, letting them know, hey, what's at stake and what we got to do. And then, just kind of a calm came over us after that.
From time to time, we have had slow starts. Have you been able to kind of put your finger on it, trying to start fast instead of kind of falling behind? Kind of a tussle with Edward Waters. Valley was a tussle, and then we fall behind by 2 scores here. Is that concerning that we've had kind of the trickle starts here?
Yeah, anytime you start, 14-0, that's not good. And so we gotta fix it. But defensively, we got to get stops. We got to do a really good job of getting stops. They had a really good night of rest, so it wasn't about them staying up all night. We just got to be focused and just do a really good job of protecting the football and when they get in the air. And I didn't think the secondary did a good enough job on those first 2 drives.
Well, UAPB was up 14-0, but then we respond with 4:08 left in the first quarter. We got the football at our 26-yard line, and then you look at how we were able to get it done and get on the board. Xavier Vaughn to Diablo McGee for 22 yards to get on the board. Talk about that nice drive. We're able to mix it up a little bit, and then Diablo McGee getting in the end zone.
Yeah, it was just good to, we know our offense can be explosive. We got to get them the football more, from a defensive standpoint and get them off the field. And just good to see Diablo back and healthy. He had some hamstring issues early in the year, and he's starting to settle in. He got some timing with Zay now, and so it was good to see him, fight that thing in the end zone. But that whole drive was just a really good job of being methodical with, run and pass collectively to get down there and get a score.
So it was 14-7. At that point, it was a pretty good drive for the Braves, 74 yards to give the Braves, or put the Braves on the board, and it was 14-7 at the end of the first quarter. I thought for the most part this season, Coach, trying to bounce back from some tough situations, tough starts, but we were able to find a way to respond, and we did right there. 14-7 after the first 15 minutes. What was your thoughts there?
We're just settling down. Anytime you can stay in that one score realm, you got a chance. In our mind, it's really just 1-0. And so we just had to settle down on defense, and we knew if we got the offense the ball, they could continue to score.
So a 14-7 at the end of the first quarter. As we look at the second quarter, let's fast forward to 10:07 left in the second quarter. You had a situation, Coach, where UAPB got the football at their 20-yard line on a 3rd and 10 from the 35. I thought we did a good job for the most part when they were behind the chains. And right here, Hagens, who only had one pick going into this game, Markel McLaurin picked it off. Talk about that defensive stop.
Just really excited about Caleb, being here. Southern Miss transfer. He's right at home. Coach West did a really good job of recruiting him. But you could see the pressure, made him make an errant throw, and he did a really good job of getting that ball out the air. So it was just exciting to see him make a play to be able to turn this game around.
We've been able to call his name quite a few times of late.
Yeah, he's one of those transfer portal kids who down in, on the coast area, loves the place. It's just like his home. So we'll be seeing him, from times after this. He's not one of those kids that once he leave, he won't be coming back, and just him being a culture fixture and being a part of Alcorn, man, is really a blessing.
Well, that was a huge pick there, because I thought UAPB was trying to get that momentum back. It was 14-0. Then we get on the board, and then if they came right back, how that takes the air out of the balloon when they score right back, and now you're back in that 2-score hole. We didn't take advantage of that drive, though, Coach. We had it at our own 36-yard line and couldn't quite do anything with that next possession.
Well, the biggest thing is the 15 yards that bagged them up. Getting your spots. We got a personal foul for the second time, this year on a sudden change. And so we got to get that fixed. We got to get it cleaned up. So I told him, that's enough. He can't do that. We don't coach that. We don't teach that. That was just a selfish act by a youngster that's trying to feel his way through it. But good football games, tight football games won't allow us to win and do that. So, that's putting offense in a bad situation. That's 15 yards less that they got to go to be able to score, get some type of points out of it. So we got to clean it up and do a better job on these sudden change opportunities.
And then we got to talk about penalties, too. In the last 4 games, we have 39 penalties in the last 4 games. It's almost 10 a game, so we'll definitely talk about that. And I know that kind of keeps you halfway up at night, Coach, with those penalties. We'll kind of talk about that as we go along. But later in that second quarter, 4:55 left in the second, got the football at the 25-yard line, our own 25, and Xavier Vaughn, one of the big plays of this game, 3rd and 13. 3rd and 13 behind the change, Xavier Vaughn, 27 yards for the touchdown. 3rd and 13 from their 27-yard line. I was thinking 3, but Xavier Vaughn thought otherwise.
Well, he does a really good job with his legs, just being active, being able to run and make people miss. He got a long stride. And so, it's, you got to keep him contained, and they didn't, and then he'll make you pay for it. And I thought he took the opportunity of reading the look and having a alley to be able to run through off the scramble drill, and he did what their quarterback had been doing to us, and that was, being athletic and putting that ball in the end zone.
Yeah, somebody was mentioning to me about the pump fake. With the pump fake, does that do anything for you in terms of just the operation of that? The pump fake, it does freeze the defense a little bit. What does that do when you see? Because we've seen that from Vaughn. I mean, it was a great run. With the pump fake, what does that do?
Yeah, they quarterback do it too. What it does, it just freezes the defense. You think you about to, you see them guys jump out the alley and that gets them at least about 2 feet over, and all of a sudden, he gets around the edge. So you're so reactive on what you're getting, from whoever the ball carrier is. So when you see that, it just freezes you for a second. And those guys really in control. When you look at their quarterback, they gave us some looks. He gave us some looks and was able to elude us because of, we trying to contain him, and he pump faking, showing the pass, and we trying to get our hands up, and all of a sudden he circled a defense on us. So that's just one of the most savage tricks that those quarterbacks use.
And what would you say? Do you look at Vaughn the runner right now? I mean, he's had some 100-yard rushing games. He's got a couple of those. He had over 100 yards rushing Saturday. Was that kind of a surprise to see him do what he's been able to do so far halfway through this season?
No, sir. We recruited him. We knew coming out of Beaumont, when we got him at Pine Bluff, that was his MO. What we're surprised and pleasant to see, is how he's getting his timing down. 19 for 26, starting to be more efficient with the football. We knew coming in as a freshman that wasn't his go-to, but we knew as he grew as a sophomore and a junior, he really got better at throwing the football. But we knew he can run the ball. Now it's just sitting in the pocket and being consistent and being efficient like he did on Saturday.
Yeah, I thought very serviceable. I mean, not throwing the picks and not forcing the ball. Just talk about that in terms of how he was able to keep things under control.
Well, that's what you want as a leader. You can't be at that position and you can't maintain it if you're going to give it to the other team. We'll get some things squared away on the defensive side like we'll continue to do. But if we can punt it and play good defense, then we got a chance.
14-14 at the break, Coach. What were your thoughts at halftime, 14-all?
It was 0-0. I was proud of them. I knew, coming in that we can kind of settle down now and play our brand of football. I was really, excited to see those guys, in front of this crowd and with all the festivities, kind of settle down and we could go in and make the necessary adjustments. So I knew we had a lot of football to play. And I just wanted to see what type of football team they was going to be coming out for the second half.
601-877-6595. You can give us a call. We have a call. Virgil calling from Atlanta here on the Cedric Thomas program. Good evening, Virgil. How are you?
Good evening, Charles. How you doing? And, Coach, how are you doing as well?
Oh, I'm blessed. How about yourself?
I'm okay, Coach. I'm okay. Coach, I have a couple of questions for you, and I just want to know if you can kind of help me out with it. But what I've seen from the game is that we have to kind of work on our tackling, and our tackling has kind of been a little lackluster. And I know this is what some of the SEC schools do. It's a little off kilter here, but what they do, they'll take the dummies and just wet them down, and what that does, it makes the dummies slippery, and what it does, it helps the players improve their tackling. Are we doing some of those drills?
No, sir. In my 20-some years, I never wetted a dummy to tackle the football. We tackle people in practice every day. If you come watch us, I can send you the film. We practice every Tuesday and Wednesday, every morning. We tackle. And good athletes make you miss tackles, but we're one of the only teams. We might be in the small percentage in college football that actually tackles every day to the ground. And so we do it, but those guys just got to continue to work on it, and it's just a fundamental part of wrapping up. You see our guys running into them violently and try to get the kill shot. They just got to settle down and wrap up. But we tackle the football every single day when we out there and pass.
That's beautiful, Coach. And, Coach, what about that? What about our well, this is what I want to tell you. Back in 2017, we played Prairie View. And I remember you had a defensive set to where they didn't get down in a stance. I want to say it was some type of amoeba defense or something. Coach, that was very effective. And I just want to know if that's what we're going to do against Grambling, because Grambling, they're upset now. They got beat by Prairie View, and they're coming for blood. And we got to go down there and just do what we have to do. I want to know, what is the defensive stance that we're going to put against them to kind of put this, it's hard winning in that hole, and Charles can tell you, it's hard. We hadn't won since 2006. So we got to make history, Coach, and I'm believing in you. So what are we doing for that?
Oh, we practicing. We practice just like we've been practicing, but I can't. You'll see Saturday, they'll see, but they might be on this line listening too, so I ain't no telling what Mickey Joseph doing. So we'll, I know you. I see you've been a part, because that was a staple of what we've done in the past at 17. And so we might have to pull and dust that thing off.
Oh man, Coach, I remember you had Terry Whittington. I mean, well, that was later on, but Terry Whittington, he shut everything down during that time, and it was just good. And Coach, I just want to say, hey, you're doing a great job, and I just want you to blitz all night with them. All night, Coach.
Well, we play in the daytime.
Well, make it night. That's what you got to do, Coach.
Appreciate it, sir.
Black them out, Coach. Black them out.
We'll do it.
Appreciate your call, Virgil.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Virgil calling from Atlanta. All right, Coach, and we got some other texts coming in. We'll get to all that. Just a lot to talk about here. It was a great atmosphere, Coach. They honored the 84 as well as the 2014, the 94 championship team. So just talk about that. I mean, just a wonderful honor. Those championship teams, of course, I remember those well, and just to see those guys, and see Deion Roberson, he was doing double duty coaching, and then he had a nice little photo op there with his former teammates.
Well, it was good to see both of those groups get together because one laid the foundation for the other, and so for them to be able to fellowship all together, that's just bridging the gap. I think we got to do more of that, of just getting all the guys together, because at the end of the day, it's all going. It ain't about who the head coach was or what year you played. It's all going when it comes to football in that standpoint. And so, but those guys in 14 was dear to me. They brought me to tears, man, because I wouldn't be where I am without them. Those guys really rallied behind me, and I had the opportunity to coach some really good young men outside of football that helped me establish generational wealth. So I'm forever indebted to those guys. So it was good to see those guys doing well, not only just in life, but just from a professionalism standpoint also.
Well, let's look at the third quarter highlights, Coach. It was 14-14 at the break, but then we were able to grab our first lead. Pine Bluff won the toss, took the football to start the game. So we got the football, Coach, to begin the third quarter, and we started at our 23-yard line, and Truck Griffin from 8 yards out with 11:21 left in the third quarter, capping off a 77-yard drive to take our first lead.
That drive was really instrumental. Those guys really came out and imposed their will on a really good defense, and I thought they just did overall, a really good job of mixing up the run and the pass. And you can't say enough about Truck. We came into this year saying that he was going to be able to get it in many different ways, but man, look at that O-line really make extra gaps for him and create yards for him. So we fell into this package, and we really like it. But it was just good to see us cap off that touchdown drive.
What does Truck Griffin feel about getting carries in the backfield? We know what he could do as a tight end, but what does he think about scoring touchdowns from the backfield like that?
You see, he don't never get out when it's time to come in there. Truck love it. Truck just a football player. He'll block for everybody. He'll catch it. He'll throw it. He'll do whatever. He's just a bloodline of that offense, and they go as he go. But just so unselfish. We said and talked about it earlier a couple of years ago. That's all he did was block, and so it's just good to see him, earn some of the fruits of his labor by being able to be multifaceted at some things.
Well, it was 21-14, so we scored 21 unanswered, Coach. But here comes UAPB. UAPB coming right back, and you look at that situation, it's 21 all, and then we grab the lead. Talk about UAPB. They were able to find a way to tie this football game.
Yeah, and that's a testament to Coach Hampton in his second year with those guys. I think last year they probably would have laid down being in that hostile environment and being here. But, man, he that quarterback, man, that kid is special. He's really dynamic. You see him make guys miss. That's one of our best tacklers right there, Demarius Edwards, that he make miss, and he drove them guys down, and the young wide out that he hit, made some guys miss. And so those guys did a really good job responding. And so we knew it was going to be a four-quarter game. But that's definitely not the UAPB of old. Those guys really had some grit. But, man, the best player on the field a lot of times is that quarterback, and he touched it, and he did a really good job of getting them guys down there.
I thought, as the game wore on, as we're looking at the touchdown that UAPB got to tie the game, when we were able to get to him, we got to Hagens. But when he had time, he could pick you apart.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's better in person than what I thought. Just far as he's in control. We had some guys really on him. You can't rush him. You can't speed him up. He can make every throw from every platform. And so to see him make those throws, because we didn't think he was a true natural passer. It was more scramble drill, backyard football. But he sat in the pocket and threw some strikes, and that's a testament to that kid developing. And when I talked to Coach, he said he went to a lot of football camps this summer, kind of worked on his throwing aspect. But, man, he's going to be something special in this league.
Like I said, I do think the UAPB is going to knock off some teams as we roll forward. They host Prairie View on Friday night. Some Friday night SWAC football at Golden Lion Stadium. Panthers better be ready, because I think UAPB is going to be ready as well. So that'll be an interesting game to watch on Friday. All right, so it was 21 all, Coach, but we're able to respond again. 9:04 left in the third quarter. Started at our 25-yard line, and we're able to get a field goal. Kiani bounces back a 21-yard field goal to give us a 3-point lead.
It was good for him to just kind of get that monkey off his back from the mixed execution earlier. And so, anytime we can get down and get points, that's what we want to do. And I just knew once we got a lead, this second time, we could just kind of hold on to it and made some adjustments defensively. But that was a really good job by that offense, answering the call to be able to get us up or get us in field goal position so we could get up.
Kiani never seems to get rattled.
No, he's just even kill. He's even kill, man. I think he got some kind of record he's trying to break, with field goals. So it's just good to see him go out there and just, kick it and make it.
So it's 24-21 at the end of the third quarter. Coach, back and forth we go. I mean, we're down 14-0, and it's a football game through the first 45 minutes. What'd you think as you head into the fourth quarter?
You know, we knew it was going to be a four-quarter game. You know, we looked at that team and said that Coach Hampton is really coaching those guys up, and we know how it is in that second year because that was us over there at one time. And you get the biggest jump from your first year to your second year. So we knew we had to, you know, really scrap it on, and we knew we was in for a ball game for 4 quarters.
So we look at the fourth quarter. It was 24-21 going into the fourth quarter. And then turnovers was the story, obviously an interception, but then Hagen's pass to Roan caught for 12 yards, but then he put it on the ground. Stamarian Edwards forced the fumble, and McLaurin recovered the fumble.
You know, those guys are just ball hungry. You know, they work them drills. You know, Coach Rowe and that staff put emphasis on turnover circuit, you know, every Tuesday, whether it's interception, whether it's fumbles. Or
Turnover Tuesday?
That's it. You see it. So, you know, and that was just an example of it. But it was just good to be able to get the ball back to the offense if they had been driving and doing a really good job with it.
Well, we got it early fourth quarter, and then Xavier Vaughn for 18 yards to give the Braves a 10-point lead, and that capped off a 44-yard drive, so a short field coach, and Xavier Vaughn with an 18-yard run, and just like that, it was a 3-point game, not a 10-point game.
Yeah, we got to just continue to play complementary football. If we can take the football away and give our offense the football and opportunities to be able to score, then we playing our brand of football. So it was good to get the turnover, and it was good to see that the offense capitalized on it.
All right, so now put your teacher hat on, Coach. I hear this phrase all the time. Complementary football. I can barely say it. Complementary football. You hear it all the time. Explain complementary football.
You know, it's just a situation where defensively, if offense is moving the ball pretty well, you might want to be a little aggressive so you can get, you know, quicker stops, you know, 3 and outs on offensively. And defensively, it's the same deal. Where we were struggling, Coach Gales had to kind of pick it up a little bit, you know, to kind of put it in the box so we can get back out there and get stops, you know. And so it works both ways. You don't want to continue to pressure when you're down 14 and give up something, and now you 3 scores down, i.e. the McNeese game. And so Coach Rowe did a really good job of just kind of holding in the road, keeping things in front of him, and Coach Gales did a really good job of just kind of pushing the tempo. And so when we got that turnover, then, you know, now it's, hey, look, Coach, you got to put this thing in the box so we can go ahead and get this thing over with. So that was kind of the mindset, and when you hear that, that's kind of what it is, you know, on both sides.
Well, it was 31-21 in the fourth quarter, 11:40 left. UAPB, and of course with the injury to Knox mixed in there too. They got the football with 11:40 left at their 28-yard line, and here comes UAPB as they got a touchdown. And so talk about that, Coach, in terms of a 72-yard drive to make it a 3-point game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, just a bonehead play by one of our old heads. Andrew Smith know better than that. You know, we up. They got to drive the ball. It's not them against us anymore. It's them against the clock. And, you know, he's in a press look when he should be off and get ran past. And gave up an explosive. You know, we got to do a better job as a coaching staff to make sure we give him, you know, the proper technique that he needs to bag up. But he also got to help himself also. You know, it's long yardage. We're up. They pressing to be able to make a play. We just got to bag up and keep it in front of us.
So it was 31-28 with 9:50 left in the fourth quarter. We got the football with 9:50 left, but then we responded once again, starting at our 39-yard line, and Sewell up the middle for 6 yards. He had a 100-plus yard rushing effort with 6:22 left. The Braves get the 10-point lead. How big was that run? How big was that drive?
Yeah, man, they really just bailed us out, you know, big time, and that's what really good offenses do. That old line did a really good job of maintaining the line of scrimmage and giving us some extra yardage. So it was good to see Sewell kind of cap things off, so where we can kind of get our bearings about us and go, you know, settle down and finish this game off.
Well, UAPB got the football with 6:14 left, down by 10. They had to go. You know, they had a 4th down and 5. Hagen's pass incomplete to Gibson. We got the football with 4:52 left, and that was pretty much it as the Braves got it done in a very good ball game. Did you expect a high-scoring game when you kind of looked at the film and everything? Did you expect it to be that high-scoring?
No, I really didn't. I expect to play clean football. You know, and I didn't think we would give up as many explosives as we did defensively. But they also, you know, kudos to them and that quarterback and that wideout and that coaching staff. They had a week off, and they gave us some different looks and caught us in some bad calls. You know, but we just expect to score one more point than the other team. And if we can continue to do that and continue to get better, you know, we'll be right where we want. We just got to clean some things up. That's the good thing about it. They can celebrate and enjoy it, but we know that we still looking for that perfect game. And we get a chance to right our wrongs and go out in the morning and then continue to get better and work on it.
Hagen's was 14 of 28 for 237, 3 touchdowns. He was sacked 3 times, Coach. I thought as the game wore along, we were leaning on their offensive line. We were able to get to him, flush him out a little bit.
Yeah, Malachi did a really good job. He's pretty much playing on one hand. He got a big cast, on his right wrist. So, he's not missing tackles on purpose, but he out there playing his tail off, and so many other guys. But I thought once they settled down, we got after the quarterback in the secondary, was able to just sit back and keep things in front of him and put some pressure on the quarterback.
When you look at the defensive numbers, Coach, Kayvon Henderson with 7 tackles, Damarian Edwards with 6. You talked about Malachi Bailey with 4. Talk about Tavion Haney. He was in the top 3 or 4 tackles with 4 tackles on Saturday.
True sophomore from Little Rock. So it's good to see him. We went in Arkansas and stole a really good player. He's gonna start for us. At the left corner, he does a really good job. Physical kid. And so we're just excited about him and Coach Taylor's development, getting them guys ready with a next man up mentality.
And offensively, Coach Xavier Vaughn, 217 yards passing, 157 yards on the ground. He accounted for 374 yards total for this team. And then Sewell, 111 yards, running for 311 yards on the ground. Coach, I did the math here. Where's my little notes? We have rushed the football for 1,000 yards in 4 games. 1,000 yards in 4 games. I think 999, something like that. That's 250 yards a game.
That's the all-going way. When you think about the John Gibbs Davis and the Loris Footman and Noah Johnson, those guys was able to also pass the ball efficient, but we knew we could run the football. But that's kudos and testament to the O-line, Coach Watson. I can't say enough about the mentality of those guys up front. Without them, you have no running game. And so they doing a really good job of creating a new line of scrimmage. The running backs and the ball carriers are doing a really good job of maintaining the ball and playing behind their pads. So I'm just excited about that, but also just excited of being more efficient in the pass aspect, guys being able to catch the football, maintain it. But also, we know it's still some work to do. Vaughn got a couple guys open in the middle of the field. He got a hit, and I know Coach Gales will get him in the lab and get that corrected, because we're going to have to make those throws consistently and not have, people running wide open. So I know they'll get it squared away.
In the receiving category, Chuck Griffin with 89 yards on 8 receptions of Tyler Macon. We talked about him, 4 for 65. Diablo McGee, 3 for 40 in the touchdown. Talk about Caleb Anderson, Coach. Just a couple of receptions. Talk about him.
And that's awesome, Mr. Charles. Like he's one of the glue pieces that you really don't hear about, because Truck do so much. But Caleb, his snaps is really starting to get up, just because Truck playing a lot of snaps. But now we can go 12 personnel, and Caleb can do all those things. So it was good to just see him be rewarded by catching the football, because he's been blocking for us. A Mississippi kid that's so unselfish. It's just good to see his mom and dad, come to some of the scrimmages and come to the games. But it was just really good to see him go out and have a really good football game. So the sky's the limit for Caleb as we finish the season off.
Braves with a big win, 38-28, and the Braves are 2-0. Coach, we're 2-0 in the conference. We're in first place in the Western Division with a couple of tough road games coming up and a bye week, and then we go to Mobile. But it starts with Grambling on Saturday. How's it feel about halfway through 2-0 in the conference?
A lot of work to do. D+. In my eyes, we still have yet to, put that game together or play to my brand of football. So the good thing is we got a chance in the morning to go out, and the guys know it. They're not satisfied with it. I was surprised when we got in Sunday. Wasn't a whole lot of hooping and hollering. They ready to go to work. And so we're going to put our feet on the grass in the morning and get ready to continue to get better. And that's the good thing about this process, that those guys are not satisfied, because we know we still got a lot of good football to play.
All right, we got a phone call coming in. Cedric Foster from Tallahassee. I hadn't talked to Cedric Foster in forever. And Cedric Foster, by the way, Cedric Thomas is a radio personality, so he knows all about this format and setup. He knows how it goes. Good evening, Cedric Foster.
Good evening, Charles and Coach. The other Cedric here. Charles, I've been busy, man, been busy working. But, Coach, I do have this question. My question is, Charles kind of hit on it about the penalties. Oh, man, I tell you, I know that drives you crazy, and it drives me crazy. And I guess my question is, what kind of drills or anything besides talking to them about what can we do to cut down on these penalties? And I'm going to hang up and just hear what you got to say about that, because that is a concern of mine. Y'all probably heard me swing from Tallahassee all the way to the reservation about these penalties. But I'm talking about Alcorn, but it is a problem in the whole swag. At times when you get a good boy, Coach, you get a good drive going, momentum going right for you, and then somebody, a personal foul, or jump outside, or line up in the neutral zone. That drives me crazy, and I know it drives you too. But I just wanted to ask, is it anything, any drill you guys are working on to try to cut down on the penalty? And I'm going to hang up and listen, Coach. And thank you, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you, Cedric.
It's some things, as far as the false start, the offsides, Malachi, he's just pressing, I think he might be leading the league in offside penalty, false start penalty, offside penalties. He jumping in the neutral zone when he ain't got to do it, and so, but notice our discipline aspect of it, when it happens, we just get him out, he can't play if he going to, jeopardize the team by doing that. So that's one of the costly, ones that's happening. The personal fouls, the one that was on Spotsville, or just happening, them kind of bang plays. He just got to be careful of how he blocking the guy in some of those situations. But it's just disappointing when you play a team like Mississippi Valley and they got 3 penalties and we got 8, we got 9. And we're not going out doing anything egregious. I think you can call holding on everybody. But when the response is, hey, Coach, we'll be here all night if we call it. I think that's just unfair, to them kids on the sideline, because I got to look in their face and all of it ain't warranted, but it's just be consistent. That's my whole deal. But when you've been looking at the Alcorn brand of football, it's been like that, I know since I've been here, and we're not going out, teaching undisciplined kids certain things. But it's definitely, we got to get fixed the best way we can, but also we need some help by the guys that's doing it.
Yeah, the penalties are definitely a concern. 39 penalties I think, Jamario, we got, there we go. 39 penalties in the last 4 games, and so we definitely have to work on that. Coach, speaking of penalties and officials, there was a couple of calls that were kind of, I guess you already know what I'm talking about. So just kind of break it down, and maybe we need to have a segment, an official segment, because some of those questionable calls or no calls. What explanations can you give us on some of the stuff that happened with, some of the questionable ones Saturday?
Nothing. That's what I get. And we saying, we got a high volume of penalties, but every time we come in, there's some questionable penalties. And it just seems like the questionable penalties we don't get, and the questionable penalties, they put them on us. And I don't do no cussing and fussing at those young men and women that's out there. But I'm not coaching any detrimental technique. But some way it just seems like we get way more penalties than the other team. Now, how that happens is just frustrating, because Drew is blocking on the edge. He's literally trying to get off a block. They run a screenplay and they call defensive holding. I've never in my 20 years of coaching football have been called for a defensive holding off a defensive back that's trying to get off a block. So that's a penalty that we got that I'm asking the ref, hey, what do I need to teach him to keep that from happening? And he says, well, I'm not a coach. You got to figure that out. And so I'm like, I've never had that called on me before, so I don't know how to fix it. And so that's disheartening. But some of the egregious penalties, the false starts, the offsides, we gotta do a better job of, and we will. But some of it, we just gotta play through it because we already know, what it is and what's happening.
All right, let's go to the text lines, Coach. We appreciate Cedric Foster calling in. Hey, Coach, I work at a factory and couldn't get to practices, but finally did last week. I got there early to get a good parking spot and watch for my vehicle because it was a little cold. Number 24, talking about number 24, up on the hill, caught my eye. I guess that scout team up there. I couldn't focus on the main practice because I was watching number 24. Need to find a way to get get him on the field on game days. Talk about 24.
Yep, Kevin May, he's doing a really good job. And I think, in the special team meeting today, his name came up, and we pushed him up in one of those special team spots. He's doing a really good job. He's really improved, getting better. So, and I'm dear to the player development aspect, and he's shown that consistently he can do what he's supposed to do. And so he'll be rewarded by getting on one of those special teams this week. But whoever that is, they definitely, seeing it the right way, because he's really been helping us, and helping this defense getting better with the scout team looks.
Another question from the text line, 601-301-2611. And you can text a question anytime, even during the week, and we'll definitely put it in the clip and save file for you and use it for the upcoming shows. Coach, we think we need more rotation at the running back position. This is an opinion from the text line. Number 28, you're talking about Sewell should not play the entire game. We have a long season ahead. Also, number 23, which is Brandon Rogers, is not effective. Do we not have the depth? Talk about the depth at the running back position.
Every running back we had on the roster played. Check the numbers. Sewell didn't play the whole game. I'm actually the reason why Sewell got back in the game, because down the stretch, I want him to be the bell cow and run the football. So that's inaccurate.
Another text from Big Pen. Just want to say you're doing a hell of a job, and they're loving the growth of this team week to week. You feel like this team is starting to get their stride and starting to figure things out here as we get to the midway point in the second half?
They're just getting identity. Those guys are just starting to get identity. And along with the coaches, this is the first time this staff been together, and everybody understanding the limitation and capability. So, I'm excited because we get a chance to continue to work and continue to get better. So, we got another chance to do it on Tuesday morning, and we'll be ready chomping at the bits to do it.
Coach, another text question. Club sideline has caught on, but it's looking like the Wild Wild West with the excess traffic on the sidelines with a lot of folks down there. Can anything be done to curtail it? Because it could be a situation where a lot of bodies are close to the sideline. And the one thing I remember, one of the officials at one of the scrimmages, if you're too close to the sideline where one of the officials is running down the line and you trip the official up or impede that official in any way, that's a 15-yard penalty.
Yes, it is.
Even though you may not be paying attention, you just may be your back is to things, but you cannot impede the official's progress up and down the line. Just talk about the sideline operations.
Yeah, they won't get that close. The screen coaches and all the support staff do a really good job of keeping them back. I rarely get a chance to see, what's going on behind me, but we got emergency, security and all that. I think I heard Dean Barnes on the PA, talking about the traffic or whatever on the sideline. I can't really get too indulged in that because I got a football game that I got to monitor, but I know everybody better be back on this first line because if they do hit one of them refs, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah, and it's 15-yard penalty on the field, and you definitely won't be happy about that. Another text, Tyler Macon has made a difference on Saturday. Continue to use him. How are the backup quarterbacks doing?
Oh, everybody good. Everybody good. They in the meeting room. They at practice. Everybody working. Everybody being as one. Everybody on the same page. We know how this game is. You one snap away. That young man that got injured Saturday didn't think that would be his last play for the rest of that game. So we know the rigors of what we're doing in this game of football, and we believe in somebody. So those guys are doing well, and we'll continue to give Tyler the football to be able to help us. But along with all the rest of them, so everybody doing good.
You were talking about the penalties. This is another from the text line. How are the officials able to get away with all the penalties that we have? We have 39 penalties in the last 4 games. I think they have something against Alcorn. This is Robin from Jackson texting in.
Yeah, I actually had to turn. This was my first time. I had to turn the penalties in. And